right, let's talk a little sports book. Now, we have a little something new tonight because there's no DK sportsbook odds out, and we have a new relationship with pointsbet.com, a totally legal if you're in the proper states sportsbook website with a lot of traditional golf bets, and they actually really value golf, but they also have some very unique ways you can bet on golf. We won't get into here on the podcast, but you can check it out if you go to pointsbet.com. Really cool, unique ways to bet on golf. But they were the only ones we could find traditional odds for before this show tonight. And we actually happen to have a couple promo codes for PointsBet. So if you are in one of those states where betting is legal, sports betting has been legalized, legislation has been passed through, and you can log on to PointsBet, you can help the Tour Junkies out while helping yourself out and set up a new account. Listen, you're going to need books. You're going to need multiple books to be able to shop the lines week in and week out for golf. PointsBet needs to be one of them. If you use promo code TJ250, TJ250, then you can get up to, if you deposit $250, you can get up to $500 back to play with. If you deposit $50, you can get $150 to play with. You can check that out. I'm also going to put the link to that promo in the description of the podcast description right here. So check that out. If you want to click on the link, just check out the podcast description. But PointsBet has some early odds out for this week, Pat. Let's talk about some names. Now, I don't think there's one name in here that I kind of noticed, I kind of looked at on PointsBet that we did not mention in the DFS portion. But from a sports betting standpoint this week, I'm always going to go for the long shots. But this week in particular, I don't see how I just don't. There's not a point in betting the shorter names 20-1 off the board because there's just no clear tier. There's not a clear tier of players in this weak field that I think is worth the units on. So the shortest number that I'm going to go to is my favorite Aussie, Cam Davis, the long hitting par 5 scoring Cam Davis at 40-1, who I think is primed to win for the first time on the PGA Tour. He's been so hot lately. He's where I'm going to start. I'm going to move back to 60-1 and hit Will Gordon and Cam Tringali, who I've mentioned on the DFS portion as well. Both great iron players. Will Gordon, one of the longest hitters on tour, takes advantage of the par 5s. New kind of basically a rookie on the PGA Tour. Cam, an established player. He's been in the hunt before. He's nearly closed it out a couple times in his career. Both players have a tremendous amount of upside. 60-1, I like the number. The one name that I didn't mention on the podcast for the DFS portion that I like for betting is Patrick Rodgers. He scares me a little bit in DFS, but Patrick Rodgers has contended for wins on the PGA Tour. I feel like the win equity is there. I just don't ever seem to get him right in DFS, and the floor is very much a miscut. But at 70-1, I like the win equity of Patrick Rodgers. Then I'm getting into your long shots. JB Holmes, who I think coming off the shoulder injury, we'll see how it goes. But 100-1 for a multiple PGA Tour winner that loves POA and hits it a long way and eats up par 5s. I think 100-1 for JB is very interesting. But again, I might hold off on this bet until maybe Wednesday, see if we can get some intel on that injury, see how he's playing. But I just don't see how he shows up to the Safeway for whatever reason if he's hurt. And then my boy Seamus Power at 150-1. Love Seamus at 150-1. I'm going to always throw a little quarter unit on him at 150-1 on a course with 4 par 5s that he can take advantage of his length in the par 5 scoring. I'll do that all day long. And then you mentioned him, Chris Baker, the European Tour player. 200-1 for Chris Baker is a nice number. If you can find an each way bet on Chris Baker, I love that actually. Like a top 5 each way. Doesn't get into a lot of trouble. Good iron player, very accurate off the tee, very, very good player that a lot of people on stateside just aren't aware of. But at 200-1, I really like Baker. So that's just some first looks that I got here at the old sports book?
Well, I had several of the same ones that you did as we had, as far as DFS plays. But the shortest guy I'll go with is one of my favorite plays over 10K this week, which was Shane Lowry. I do like him at 25-1. I like Shez Reavie at 33-1. I think that's a good play as well. And then I kind of jumped into that Cam Davis week. I was there at 40-1. But instead of Tringali and who you mentioned, I'm going to go with Luke List at 60-1. I think that's a good number for him as well. The longest odds guys, I did like Baker at 200-1. I was there with you. I didn't mention him on the pod, and this is just kind of, or on the, as far as the DFS portion, but I think this is just kind of a hunch play. But 100-1 Wyndham Clark, super long off the tee. I think that could be just a guy that, could come out of nowhere and win this week. So I like him as well. So that's probably, Baker at 200-1 was my longest odds guy.
I wish Wyndham Clark would just one day meet his potential. The guy hits it so far.
He's got so much potential.
He's one of the best. And what's crazy is, most of the time you have a super long hitter that can't putt worth the crap, or you have a guy who can putt incredibly, like a Brandt Snedeker or a Brian Harman, and they can't hit it far. Wyndham Clark can actually hit it a long way, and he's one of the best putters on the PGA Tour and has been for years. He can't hit his irons or chip, which I'm like, that should be very easy to fix. He's got a tremendous amount of upside if he can figure that out. I don't know how you can be so good with the driver and you just can't hit your irons worth crap. And he can't go to like a chipping guru and get that straightened out.
Yeah.
But he's one of the best putters, and he does feel like he has the game, as long as he hits it and as good as he is on the greens, he has the game to win on the PGA Tour. It sucks because like even PointsBet, there's no top 10s, no top 20s out, at least not right now. I don't think.
It's so weird when you have we don't have that many
Monday finish like this.
Yeah. I mean, you don't have that much, and so I think everybody's focused on that. And then on top of that, there's some good NFL deals going on PointsBet right now also. So I mean, with NFL starting this week, there's a lot of attention, being focused on that. So.
Which, by the way, our promo code still applies. If you want to just bet on the NFL, you can do all that. But there's just no head-to-heads. There's no top 10s out right now, no top 20s. It's just outright guys. So who was your shortest odds player again? Who was the shortest number you went?
Shane Lowry at 25-1.
Okay, so you went with a 25-1. I don't hate Shane Lowry.
By the way, you're not. I think we need to mention him. We haven't even mentioned him one time. He was playing this event. Unless he withdrew, and I didn't know about it, which is entirely possible.
Not. Yeah, apparently he's still in it.
Yeah, he's at 20-1. He is the favorite at 20-1, which is very unusual for an event to have the favorite be 20-1. Like usually, if we have a decent field, it's 10-1 or less. But I can't put any money on Mickelson at 20-1.
No, he has played this event very well. He just won on the Champions Tour at like 2.5-1, which he should have. See, that's the thing is like normally if you're betting somebody that's 20-1, you're betting a Xander Schauffele or a Colin Morikawa or somebody like that. Even Bryson lately has gotten there in some of these strong events. And you just don't have the same
DJ was
level.
20-1 a few weeks ago before he started going nuts.
Yeah, we hit Rahm at 22 or 20-1 a couple weeks ago.
We hit DJ also.
So it's just that's what I'm saying. Like, there's just not that tier. There's not that upper echelon that makes sense to bet on those guys. I just don't think there is. I think you're way better spreading your units. Spread your seed, right? Cast a wide net, and I think you're just more likely to hit. I think it's just more likely we're going to see a big number win this thing. So